Let's start with the shoe. Where were you? Could you see that when the shoe was thrown, when the flag was dropped, and you knew at that point, hey, this drive could end with me having to make a kick?
Yeah, I was already in the kicking net, kind of just getting a little bit warm because it's only 2 minutes, and that could either go by in like 4 plays or it could be a longer drive. So I was just kind of staying ready. I saw it hit third down, so I kind of moved my way to the sideline to watch. I saw Cole get tackled, and I saw him actually throw the shoe. I was like, wait, isn't that a flag? And then he threw it, so I was like, oh, there we go. We're almost in field goal range already. So I was kind of just mentally staying ready and prepared for anything that could happen because they could end up throwing it to the 5-yard line and it being a little chip shot, or it could still end up being punted. So you don't really know what's going to happen.
Speaking of things you might have seen or not seen, I don't know how you saw the uprights, Cade, because of the fog, because of the blinding neon lights that they had there in the swamp. How did you kind of know your mark, where to kick it? Is that something you went and checked out maybe before the kick, or you just kind of know where you're supposed to hit it?
I had definitely gone out in the field and kind of like just looked around. One thing I did notice is that it's fog, so it was like ground level, like eyesight level. It wasn't bad, and you could see. So I could see like the upright, maybe not the top of the upright, but I knew where I was aiming at and just hit a straight ball. Just trusted it.
Do you need to be able to see the uprights? I know it sounds like a dumb question, but given the yard line and the hash, you know where you are on the field, and you kicked for so long that you know the width of the goalpost. You know what you're aiming at. Does it bother you if you couldn't see the goalposts?
I think if you couldn't see it, that would bother me. It wasn't completely like blind. There is part of a kicker that's been doing it for a while that's got a little bit of an idea of where you're supposed to be hitting it. I think definitely it would be a little bit more of a mental game if you couldn't see it completely. But there, I could see the goalpost decently. It's just when the ball got up and it met the lights, I lost it for a little bit, and then but off the foot, I knew it was in.
Cade, you're 82% from beyond 50 yards in your young college career. I mean, that's a remarkable stat. And obviously, you have the leg strength. You know how far you can kick the football. But it doesn't seem to bother you when it's a long-distance field goal, when it's 50-plus yards. It looks like you approach it the same exact way. Do you have that kind of confidence from 50 and beyond?
I'd say yes. I feel like one of the – I don't know if it's just a strength or a weakness, but when I get up to like a 50-plus yard field goal, I go out there, I'm like, okay, like the odds are against you, so just swing at it. You know what I mean? It's a little less pressure because I feel like in my mindset, sometimes I can get cautious with short ones because it's like, okay, this should be money. But when I get out there for a long one, I just kind of let loose a little bit more, which is something I, moving into the future, want to apply to all my kicks.
LSU kicker Cade York is our guest. Cade, the conditions weren't the best. What were you comfortable hitting from in pregame during warmups? Where in your head were you like, I'm okay from this end given the conditions?
Do you mean like automatic, or do you mean like if like games on the line?
Well, you tell me.
I like to think I want to be automatic 15 in. I think I've shown well up to about 53, 54, 55. But games on the line, I hit my best ball. I can hit from 63 to 65.
And you might have had that distance on the kick on Saturday night. Hey, Cade, Cade, as someone in my career, the moment that everyone wants to come and talk to me about is the 2007 Florida game because it was a big matchup and memories throughout that game. Do you realize that now you're going to have a memory in LSU football that you're going to get asked about numerous times for the rest of your life?
It's definitely been a little bit of a shock because, like, you see, like, the one with Colby, Delahousse, and Cole Tracy, and I'm in high school, and I'm watching that stuff, and I'm like, wow, like, that's cool. Like, I'm never going to get there, but it's cool to watch. And then you kind of go through it, and in the moment, like, I was celebrating, but then it didn't really hit me till, like, the next day or two that I'm like, wow. Like, people are saying this is, like, a legendary comeback and like one of the biggest games. I mean, it hasn't been the best season for us overall, but that's definitely something to pick the mood up. And I feel like I'm just so blessed to be a part of something and be a part of that story.
Is it true that you mentioned Della Hussein and Tracy? Is it true those guys reached out to you later on? And who else have you heard from since you made the kick?
Yes. Cole and me exchanged a few texts after the game, and basically he just congratulated me, and I thanked him for pushing me because he's definitely someone that I came in last year trying to compete with, basically, just because that's where he set the standard at, and he set it very high. And Colby reached out over social media and congratulated me and welcomed me to the club, per se. And then I've had a bunch of friends, family, a lot of LSU fans, old coaches, even some that recruited me at other schools reach out and just congratulate me. So it's been good to catch up with a bunch of people.
Now, Cade, I'm not trying to be funny here, but my last year at LSU was 2007 as a player, and Zach Von Rosenberg is closer to my age than he is your age. And, of course, every time the broadcast is on, they tell us how old Zach is. So I'm not trying to get on the old guy, but what is it like having that type of guy around you every single day as kind of a mentor?
It's definitely interesting. I love Zach a lot. He definitely has a heightened sense of humor, being around this stuff a lot longer, and it's always enjoyable to be around him. Sometimes he doesn't always act like a 30-year-old, but he's hanging around with a bunch of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, so that makes sense. But he is, like, before the kick, I was kind of ignoring him a little bit because I was just in my own head just thinking. But he was like, okay, like, game's tied. Like, there's no need to worry about losing the game. Just go out there and smoke the ball. He's like, this is the best situation you can be in. I've seen you hit these kicks all the time. Just do it.
Okay,
he's got a cool.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Finish.
He has something I envy of him is that he like is able to just like either convince himself that like whatever, just move on. Like he just has a way of like not caring, not in a bad way, but like he can just blow past something that goes wrong very quickly, and it's pretty cool to watch, and that's something I've learned from him.
Okay, there's a picture, I don't know if you've seen it, of you going through warm-ups by the kicking net as the drive is going on, and Brian Madden, who is the state trooper that protects Coach O, is standing along the side of you, and it's one of those, nobody mess with Cade right now, and nobody would dare mess with Brian Madden. I was just wondering if you were aware that he was standing over there like guarding you.
He stands there every game. I'm not necessarily aware of that picture, that exact moment, but he is awesome. He like if fans chirp all game, but fans were chirping a lot that game, and at one point he bowed up and got him to shut up for a little bit, and he's pretty cool. It's not his job isn't as hard this year because it's not people on the sideline. Last year he would have to like shove people and like yell at people to get out of the way because most of the time they'll sit there and watch the game right by the kicking net because they're just not paying attention. And then I'm like, excuse me, I got to warm up, please.
That's a good guy to have by your side. Hey,
yeah, he's a great guy.
Cade, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on what will be one of the biggest kicks in LSU history. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.